North Korea, a country like no other, finds itself in a very difficult position. They are nearly isolated from the entire world and almost enemies with every single country you can name. These are the countries that have sanctioned them, which makes it hard for North Korea to import stuff to their country, as well as exporting their goods and services out of their country. Just 121 miles from Pyongyang, North Korea's capital, we have South Korea. A completely different country where the economy is strong and no international sanctions. This contrast between the two Koreas, which are only separated by a few miles, shows how much difference isolation can make. This is the reality of North Korea, where nothing gets in and nothing gets out. If no one buys anything from North Korea, how do they manage to make money in order to fund their country and feed their people? North Korea's way of handling money and businesses is not like how European countries or the United States do it. They have a strict system where the government is in charge of planning and organizing everything, which is a common thing in many countries that follow communism. This means the government makes important decisions about money, resources, and how the economy works. They decide what should be produced, how much should be produced, and the price at which it would be sold at. After the Korean War ended in July 1953, North Korea faced challenges in developing its economy. In 1990, North Korea faced a serious threat of collapse because the Soviet Union, which used to provide them with funds, itself collapsed. The funds from the Soviet Union had been keeping North Korea alive during that time. Between 1990 and 1998, the average annual growth rate was minus 4.1%. After some devastating years, North Korea tried to do something else and come up with new strategies and tactics which would recover their broken economy. In 2002, North Korea made things a bit easier by lifting some rules. They wanted to have markets that were private and started doing changes to improve their economy. They made several changes in their economy, like raising prices and wages, changing how prices are set, and other adjustments. These changes helped the economy to grow faster than ever before. As of August 2018, North Korea had 436 officially recognized private markets. The number might be higher now, and these markets generate around $56.8 million each year through taxes and rents. In this satellite image, it's evident that most of the markets are situated in the capital city, Pyongyang. Allowing these businesses to be privately owned has had a positive impact on the economy today. With an estimated GDP of around $48.3 billion, North Korea ranks as the 107th largest economy in the world. Despite the progress North Korea has made in recent years, North Korea is striving for something else. The state ideology of North Korea is called Juche. This ideology is the ideas of Marxism, but also emphasizes the individual, the nation-state, and most important, national sovereignty. The reason North Korea tries to be so independent and rely on itself is because they believe that the only way that their country can do well is to become self-reliant by achieving political, economic, and military freedom. That's why they're aiming to manage as many things as they can, but there's a hidden cost. North Korea is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Every year, they are ranked as the least transparent among 194 countries when it comes to corruption. It's kind of funny in North Korea. If you have enough money, you can use it to avoid following the government's rules. This includes things like being able to travel wherever you want or changing your position in the government. In recent years, the black market has been rising in North Korea, where local people shop in these markets. A black market is a market where people buy and sell things in a hidden way. It operates outside of the rules and the control of North Korea. You can buy anywhere from TVs, LED light bulbs, and dozens of other things. North Korea has recently faced shortages of goods, which is why these markets exist in the first place. But why do people want to buy from these markets? Many North Koreans have foreign currencies, such as the US dollar or the Chinese yuan. The exchange rate at these black markets is much higher than the official exchange rate. This means that a TV priced at $1,340 with the official exchange rate would really be $100,000. One of the reasons for these enormous differences in the exchange rate can be because of the scarcity of foreign currencies on a government level. Even though the government tries to stop the unofficial market in the past, it seems that under Kim Jong-un, they have now accepted that the black market is everywhere and that many people are involved in activities that are not officially allowed. But why is North Korea not doing anything about it? One of the reasons is the black market has become an essential part of the economy. Also, as mentioned before, North Korea has faced shortages of several goods, which means that they can use the black market as an easier way to import stuff to their country, which they couldn't do before. But as time passed, North Korea has tried to encourage people to start their own businesses, which is why they passed the August 3rd rule, which allows the North Korean to run small businesses, buying and selling at markets or door to door, providing personal services such as hairdressing, tailoring, or educational services. This law was actually introduced back in 1984, but North Korea has in recent years tightened its grip around the August 3rd rule, which has left private and local businesses in a very difficult position. But it's not only the small businesses in North Korea that are struggling. The general population in North Korea is starving, and the gap between the rich and the poor has been growing immensely in the region. 60% of people living in North Korea live below the poverty line. According to North Korea itself, the government is committed to provide necessities to every person, but the ruling elite enjoys a prosperous life with privileges such as quality housing, access to shops with good quality imported goods, and foreign travel. When food and medical supplies are short, they get first dibs at what is available. The elite in North Korea is made up of perhaps 1 or 2 million people. Although the gap between the rich and the poor can be big, the education is free to the age of 15, which explains the 99% literacy rate. The kindergarten system is available to all children, healthcare is free, provided with a large number of hospitals and clinics all over the country. But somehow, North Korea finds it hard to feed its population. But why is it that North Korea doesn't have any food to feed its population? According to the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, the reason is because the recent typhoons and floods are making it difficult to grow crops. This has made the cost of corn and rice go up in recent years. And this makes the population of North Korea to really struggle, and many are trying to find ways of surviving. You see, the daily life of a North Korean is not the same as the average European or American. Unstable power conditions make it hard to stay warm during the winter, where most North Koreans burn coal to stay warm, which puts themselves at risk for health problems. Propaganda is almost at every corner, and in every aspect of one's life, movies, televisions, shows, theater, in the street, basically everywhere. Well, these hard conditions lead to only one solution: escape. But that's a huge risk to take. But it's even a bigger risk to stay for thousands of North Koreans that ever tries to do so. The best time to do it is during the winter, to cross the Amnok River at the border with China, when the water is freezing. When the North Koreans arrive at the border between China and North Korea, they must avoid the guards from China who are constantly looking for people trying to cross the border. Let's imagine they miraculously manage to cross the border. North Koreans are still not safe. The reason being is that China defines the crossing of the border as an illegal activity, and they will be sent back where death is waiting for them. That's why, if they stay in China, they will live in hiding, and that's why many of those trying to leave North Korea migrate to other countries than China and also Russia, because they will also send the North Koreans back to their own country. So the North Koreans would look at reaching countries like Thailand, because then they would be sent back to South Korea actually. But migrating from North Korea is not always an option for many people. But living there is also a challenge because of the immense rules they have. For instance, making international call to someone outside of North Korea is seen as a crime. Being disloyal to the leader can mean a death penalty, which can go 3 generations down. They also have a list of government-approved haircuts that you're allowed to have. There are 18 haircuts for women and 10 for men. But where they get their money is a real question, because it's not possible for any country to have people to work for you, trade with other countries, so that you can have a strong military force without any money. North Koreans' main import is minerals, textiles, and agricultural products, whereas their main import is petroleum, coal, and dozens of other things. A large portion of their income comes from trading with China, where a large portion of this trade between these two countries was arms trade. North Korea and China agreed on a deal. If they do business together, North Korea has to share a big part of the money they make with China. Usually it's more than 50%, and this shared money goes to China, which they call it as loyalty offerings. China isn't the only country that North Korea trades with. Russia is also bringing a significant amount of money flowing into the North Korean economy. It's believed that North Korea also sells ammunition and millions of rockets to Russia, which they have been using in the ongoing Ukraine conflict, as Western countries have banned Russia from buying anywhere else. The Wagner Group has also been buying arms from North Korea in 2022. North Korea isn't only selling arms and ammunition to their neighboring countries, but they also smuggle oil to primarily China again, but also Hong Kong and Macau. Another method that North Korea has been using to generate income is through the production and selling of drugs. It has been long believed that North Korea has manufactured and trafficked narcotics for cash, and it may also continue to do so as sanctions are ramped up, which makes it hard for them from trading legitimate goods. Lately, North Korea has been heavily investing in their military and especially their missiles. They have tested a variety of ballistic and cruise missiles in recent years. It's also tested hypersonic missiles, which can fly at several times the speed of sound and at low altitude to escape radar detection, as well as other launch from submarines. In April 2023, North Korea tested what they call its most powerful missile to date, the Hwasong-18, which is a solid fuel missile. On the test, it flew 620 miles, but its true range is estimated to be over 9,000 miles, which can hit almost any target on Earth, including the US. Here's a view of some of the North Korean missiles and their range. As you can see, North Korea has been heavily invested in several missiles with long range. Since Kim Jong-un became the leader of North Korea in December 2011, he has been testing missiles a lot, even more than his father, Kim Jong-il. North Korea also has nuclear weapons, where the last time they tested a nuclear bomb was back in 2017, which had a force between 100 and 370 kilotons, which is anywhere between 6 and 20 times more powerful than the one the US dropped on Hiroshima in 1945. The test site was at a place called Pyongyang, which had a magnitude of 6.3 on the Richter scale, and it is especially these nuclear programs that the West fears. That's why various countries have been putting sanctions on them. The UN has played a significant role in imposing sanctions on North Korea. The first sanction on them was in 2006, which was in response to the country's first nuclear test. These sanctions have limited North Korea's access to materials and technology that could be used to support its nuclear program. Over the following years, the UN has tried to restrict the country's ability to access international financial system. They have tried to freeze North Korean assets held in foreign banks, which have made it difficult for them to fund their nuclear program. These sanctions have been supported by the US, EU, and also Japan, with their own sanctions, but often in coordination with the UN sanctions. But despite these sanctions, North Korea has continued to advance their nuclear weapons and missile weapons somehow, where they year after year managed to test more and more of their weapons. These sanctions will last and probably become even worse if North Korea continues what it's doing. Given these problems, it's really important to look for different ways to make peace and bring North and South Korea together. But there are some factors that point in another direction. China will never allow such a thing to happen because of the US military. Trying to rebuild North Korea will cost millions and if not billions to bring North Koreans' living standards up to those living in South Korea. There's another economy that's not doing so well, and that's the one in Eastern Europe. It's been moving away from its nearby countries in Northern Europe. If you're curious about why this is happening, you should definitely check out this video. This video will help you understand what's going on with Eastern Europe's economy.